All right, guys. Tonight we are going to talk a bit about recovery. I have a presentation here for you about how to recover like a champion. And you'll probably hear me say more than a number of times that recovery is just as important as the training itself. You can't have one without the other. So if I'm going to talk about training and how to best do your training, then I also need to talk about how to best recover. So that's what tonight is all about. Stop me if you have any questions along the way, and we will get rolling. Okay. So why is recovery so important? So first of all, as you can imagine, if you recover better in between sessions, it improves the quality of training when you do train. So pretty much a given, pretty self-explanatory there. A big thing is injury prevention. Running is one of the toughest sports in terms of staying healthy. And I always say, as a coach, my biggest job is actually just to keep people running and running healthfully, and to keep them from getting injured. Because if you can stay healthy and consistent and not be injured, then you will improve as a runner. Consistency is king. If you can be consistent, you will get faster. To be consistent, you have to stay healthy and uninjured. And to do that, you need to recover really well in between your training sessions. Improved immune system, that's the other thing. If you don't get hurt, that's awesome, but you also have to stay healthy in terms of getting sick, getting colds, getting the flu, which hard running and training can make you more susceptible to, because it does run you down a little bit in terms of your immune system. So if you do the proper recovery in between workouts, again, you will stay healthier, not get that cold or that flu that knocks you out for 10 days, and you can't train and all that. And ultimately, all of this means that you can go fast. And that's what we're really after, of course. So I'm just going to talk about a number of recovery tips, probably my top few tips about how to best recover, and that's how we'll do this. So tip number one is make the easy days easy. And I mean like stupidly easy. Like you're embarrassed how easy and slow you're going. Like your, grandmother is passing you when you're running because you're going so easy. And these are the ZR, or the zone recovery runs that I'm talking about. Your heart rate can never be too low. Your pace can't be too slow. For a lot of people, ZR actually means walking, to keep your heart rate below the ZR or zone recovery heart rate zones. You actually have to do a bit of walking, and that's totally fine. What we're looking for is a way to get your blood moving. So you do have to get out there and move in between your harder workouts or your longer workouts, but you don't want to create any muscle tension. So get the blood moving, but without creating any additional damage to your muscle tissue. That's the only goal. And that can be done by walking, by slowly jogging. You need to have a significant gap between your Z1 pace and your ZR pace. So I'll just use myself as an example. Right now, my Z1 pace is about 7 minutes per mile. So when I go out and run in the middle of my zone 1 heart rate zone, I'm running about 7-minute pace. But when I do a ZR run, I never ever run faster than 9-minute pace. Sometimes ZR for me means 10-minute pace. So as you can see, there's at least a 2-minute, sometimes a 3-minute per mile gap in between Z1 and ZR, just to create that really significant difference, so that ZR is super easy. Again, just getting the blood flowing, but without creating any muscle tension. And I will say this is probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make in terms of training and recovery. They think it's silly to go that slow, or they don't want to, they let ego or pride take over. They don't want to be passed by, you know, everybody and their brother out running, you know, their usual route. Or they just think it's a waste of time to run that easy. And oftentimes they run too hard on recovery days. And then what ends up happening is it actually fatigues them instead of helping them to recover. And then they can't run hard workouts hard enough. So it all becomes this gray zone. Their hard workouts aren't hard enough. They are too fatigued to run fast enough and hard enough on the hard days. Their easy days are too hard, and it all sort of melds into one pace. And that's what I see very often, is that recovery, long runs, hard workouts are all within 20 to 30 seconds per mile in pace. And again, there should be a significant difference there. So this is one place you can really probably improve, make the easy days super stupidly easy. That's recovery tip number 1. Recovery tip number 2, use a recovery drink after every single workout. This is one of the best ways to improve recovery. So nutrition, what you use in terms of eating before, during, after, and your general everyday nutrition is a huge part of recovery. So what do I mean by a recovery drink? These are 4-to-1 or 3-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio drinks. You drink this within 30 minutes of finishing your workout. I've been a dietitian for a long time, and I will say, since I first graduated college with my nutrition degree, I've seen a lot of things change in the field of sports nutrition. This is one thing that has never changed, that has never been doubted, there is very solid research to back up, and it's one of the key, like the cornerstones of sports nutrition. Within 30 minutes of finishing a workout, you need to have a 4-to-1 or 3-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio drink. There's carbohydrate in the drink to help replace the glucose or glycogen stores that you've used during your training, and there's protein in the drink to help rebuild the muscle tissue that you've damaged and torn down during the training. So those are the 2 key components. People often ask me, do you have to have a recovery drink after every workout? Like, if you just do a 30-minute easy run, do you still have to have the recovery drink? And my answer to that is yes. You just get in the habit of doing recovery after every single workout, no matter what it is. Strength training, easy runs, long runs, interval runs, standard Z1 aerobic runs, do it after every single workout. But you do scale the amount to the intensity and duration of the workout. So is it important to have recovery drink after a 30-minute recovery run? Yes, it is, but obviously you don't need quite the same amount as you would after your 2.5-hour long run when you're in marathon training. So kind of scale the amount to the intensity and duration. What are some examples of what you could use? There are a ton of companies out there that make specific recovery drinks. They're powders that you mix with water. They are already the 4-to-1 or 3-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio. It's very easy in terms of logistics. You can, take these powders anywhere, mix them with water. You don't need a refrigerator, or you don't need any kind of special whatever to drink them. They make it easy. Examples of these are Clean, which we actually, as Run Formula or QT2 athletes, have access to a discount code for Clean. You can find that on the website. That's a great product. Other companies that make recovery drinks is First Endurance. They make a recovery drink called Ultragen. And then Endurox is another a recovery drink mix, powder mix. What else works? Interestingly enough, chocolate milk is a 4-to-1 ratio. It's pretty high in sodium. So in addition to the carbohydrate and protein, you're also looking to replace electrolytes that you've lost. So all of these powder mixes have electrolytes and other things in them to help with recovery. Chocolate milk is kind of the perfect, nature's perfect recovery drink. It has the 4-to-1 ratio. In addition, it's pretty high in sodium to replace electrolytes, potassium. So it can definitely be used in a pinch. The other thing that I get the question on very often is, can I just use regular food? Like, can I use, a banana, which has the potassium and it has the carbohydrate, and then put some peanut butter on it, and that has the protein, and then I'm good to go. Is that better than doing nothing? Yes. But the problem with that is those complex foods, for example, peanut butter, it's very high in fat, which is, it's good, healthy fats, and that's fine. But that fat really slows digestion. So we want to take this within 30 minutes of finishing the workout, because that's when when nutrients are best metabolized in the system after a workout. If you do something like peanut butter for recovery, it takes way longer than 30 minutes for that peanut butter to be digested, just because there is so much fat in it. Fat really slows digestion. Again, it's good fat, but nonetheless, it's going to slow digestion. That protein is not going to get where it needs to be within 30 minutes when the body can really use it. And so that's why, quote unquote, just using regular food isn't as good as using an actual recovery drink, like these mixes. Or, chocolate milk has sort of the same issues as using regular food, but it's a little bit better. It's a little bit more broken down in terms of sugar. Definitely use low-fat chocolate milk or no-fat chocolate milk if you are going to use it. So that's the story on recovery drinks. Definitely get in the habit there if you're not already. And beyond recovery drinks, nutrition in general is really important. I will say, other than sleep, nutrition is probably the biggest factor in terms of recovery. So the recovery drinks, but also what you're doing in daily life and in fueling for your workouts. So make sure you're drinking properly, you're getting enough, you're hydrating in between workouts. That's huge. If you go into a workout already dehydrated, especially in these hot summer months that we're in right now, you're really going to impact the quality of that workout. So it's really important and big in terms of recovery and in quality of training, and making sure you're hydrating in between workouts. Eating adequate fruits and vegetables. The amount of nutrition or micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, fibers, all the things that help our bodies repair and regenerate itself in fruits and vegetables is unparalleled elsewhere. So if I've been a dietitian for a long time, and if I had to say the one recommendation that I make pretty much across the board to just about everybody, no matter, what their diet currently looks like, is that they need to eat more fruits and vegetables. I've looked at, literally probably thousands of food logs over the years, and that's the one thing that I can say that pretty much nobody does, the best job at. So that's a good place to start if you're looking to improve your nutrition. Adequate protein, whey protein at night. If you're not getting adequate protein during the day, having a scoop of whey protein at night to help to give your body the building blocks that it needs overnight when you're sleeping to repair all the damaged muscle tissue that you have created during the day. At night when we sleep, growth hormone is secreted, and that's when, when your body repairs itself, it needs protein, the very simplest forms of protein, which is amino acids, to actually do that repair. So that's why getting adequate protein and even having like a protein shake at night is really important. Proper workout fueling. This is a huge thing in terms of recovery. I have a lot of people that don't, properly fuel during the workouts, meaning they don't drink enough, they don't eat enough during workouts. If you are going on a run at 60 minutes or longer, so 60 minutes is kind of the time frame that we use. So anything over 60 minutes or over, you should be taking gels, gummies, the simple sugars that you will be fueling with during the marathon, to make sure that you're replacing the glycogen that you're using during your longer run. So if you choose not to fuel properly, you basically just dig a hole. So you go on an hour and a half run, you don't take anything during the run, you use a pretty significant amount of the glycogen that you have, and that's, again, glycogen is just stored carbohydrate. Our bodies store it in our livers and in our muscle tissue, and you use a significant portion of what you have stored. Because you don't take anything during the workout, you're relying on your stores alone. So then you're digging this hole where now your stores are a little bit low. If you don't properly replace that, the next time you go and run, your stores are even lower, and it becomes this vicious cycle. So, fueling properly during workouts is a big part of recovery. That's where the recovery actually starts, during the workout, making sure that you're properly fueling. Basically, you just want to fill up your tank with expensive gas. You don't want to put in the crappy gas that, maybe is a little less expensive at fast food or something like that, but it's just not going to help your engine run that well. Okay, so I just said that other than nutrition, sleep is probably the biggest way that you can recover best. And so here it is. Sleep is the least expensive, but the most effective recovery tool that you have available to you. We have a ton of things that are expensive, machines, special, compression socks, or tights, or special foods. Nutrition is big, but sleep is the biggest of all. Again, growth hormone is released during sleep to repair damaged tissues. If you don't get the adequate sleep, you lose out on a lot of good stuff, growth hormone being one of them. Try and get at least 7.5 hours a night at a minimum. Everybody's sort of different in terms of how much sleep they need. Some people actually, 7.5 hours isn't going to be nearly enough. So you just have to make sure that you kind of find that balance. And trust me, I get it. I understand that it's really difficult to make it all work, to get in your training. You all have families. You all, obviously, you're working. I'm asking you to run 2.5 hours, on certain days. And it's tough to make it all work. But this is one thing that you don't want to sacrifice too much on, because this is when you run into trouble. You do get sick, you do get injured. And so start and keep in a good routine. Make it a priority. Turn the TV off. I'm sure, and any number of us, myself very much included, could come up with an extra 15, 30, 45 minutes a day that we waste, whether it be watching TV, searching on Instagram, doing things that don't necessarily need to be done, that, if we skipped, we could add to sleep and have a big impact on performance, on mental health, just overall doing much better. So another big one, sleep. Next up is what I generally call body work. And this is giving your body a little a little TLC. So you're asking a lot of your body, and a lot of people are very surprised to, you know, start training and, oh, well, you know, my calf is kind of hurting. Like, this isn't good. I'm getting injured. Often, 90% of the time, the things that start to crop up as you run more, you increase your volume, you increase your intensity, all the things you do while training for a marathon or a half marathon, whatever it may be, that's a very big demand on your body that you may have never placed on it before. So you need to give your body a little TLC. You need to do some foam rolling. That's huge. Foam rolling is huge. Highly recommend it. Actually, Smile Train, and then before I forget, Smile Train athletes have a discount to Trigger Point. Trigger Point is a company that makes all sorts of cool rollers, self-massage tools. They are pretty much the standard. They were one of the first to come out with all sorts of great gadgets to help do foam rolling, self-massage, that type of thing. The discount code for Smile Train athletes is in all caps, Smile Train, and then 20, the number 20. So use that to go on the Trigger Point website and pick yourself out a good foam roller. Foam rolling daily. It's very important. Takes 5-10 minutes after every run. And if you are going to stretch, then stretching after you foam roll. Foam rolling helps break up adhesions, tissues that are sort of stuck together. You know, a lot of times we create damage, and then you form sort of adhesions or scar tissue forms, and all that is what's causing pain and tightness and pulling on different connective tissue and muscles and things like that. So what foam rolling and self-massage does is it helps break up those adhesions, that scar tissue, and helps the body to move more freely. So very, very important. Again, spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour every day. It literally can be a few minutes here or there, but make it part of the routine. And of course, professional massage is a great idea. If you have the means to do that, find a good masseuse that works on athletes. And understand that, you know, I'm not here for a foo-foo, like, make me feel better and relax me massage. I'm here for you to dig your elbow into those areas of adhesions and kind of work things out so that I can, you know, run healthy and run better. So another important thing to consider. And then finally, yes, I believe this is my last tip. Recovery. A big part of recovery is compression. And now we're getting into some of the more expensive gadgets for recovery, whereas sleep is free. These things are not so much free. But compression is a big thing in terms of getting the blood flowing properly, and just really just helping you feel better. They make compression socks, compression tights. The ultimate here is pictured compression boots. These are called Normatec, and actually, again, QT2 and Run Formula athletes do get discounts for this stuff. So if you are interested in some kind of setup like this, definitely let us know. But compression to, again, help with blood flow, to help with recovery, just getting your feet up and getting you off your feet is a big part of this as well. So that is my 6 best tips about how best to recover. And so if you have any questions, just type them in the chat box, or, you know, email me. Again, there's my email. If you do have some questions that you want to get at me later. But yeah, start to get some of this stuff into your daily routine, and your training will start to improve. I do promise that. All right, it doesn't look like there's any questions right now. So again, if you think of something, email me. We have been recording this webinar, so we'll put it up on the website. You can watch later. And happy training and happy recovery to you. Thanks, guys.